Hello, Internet. I'm Nick, and I'm about to do a frickin' podcast with Justin Allen. Wow, I'm early. God, I should log back out and make him wait for me. Dang it! He's here already. I was about to back out.
How you doing, man?
Doing good. Hey.
I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, my pleasure, man.
Were you as nervous for this podcast as I was, or you're used to being in the public eye now?
I'm used to it now, but now it's kind of weird because I haven't done like a, you're practically a stranger. We've just had a little bit of an exchange, so it's a little different. And now, like, it's weird because the camera's lower than my screen, so I don't know. Should I look at your picture? Or should I look at I guess I'm more used to looking at the camera, so I'll just do that.
What I've been doing is I've been looking at the camera down here, but I have another camera up behind my laptop. So we're making eye contact, and I don't think it's important on a podcast to make it look like we're actually having eye contact.
I know. It's so much harder over the internet, dude. I've been doing all these live stream things with my buddies in Australia, and we got a good rapport. It's just the freaking lag and stuff and all the logistics. We end up talking over each other, yelling and stuff, I would love to be able to get them in the same room with me, but them being across the planet, it's the logistics are, yeah.
Yeah, and the time zones. How extreme is the time zone there?
They're like, I think 15 hours ahead of us, or maybe something like that. Yeah, it's like 12 hours plus 3, or maybe 12 hours plus 5. I don't know. It's like it's always the next day. Yeah.
I had to get up super early to interview a guy in Korea the other day.
People all over the planet, man, doing photography. Doesn't matter where you are. By the way, since I mentioned them, I don't know if this part's going to make it in, but big shout out to Ace's Places, aka Ace Creates, and Shutter Slabs, both awesome film photography creators.
I will make sure it makes it into the episode.
Okay.
You're blowing up on YouTube, man.
Thank you for saying so. It feels like it's more of just a steady climb, just one foot in front of the other.
Well, I first discovered you 6 months ago when you started popping up in my shorts feed. And I was like, who the hell is this guy? Why is he picking on Jason?
So that was the first thing? That was the first thing you saw?
Yeah, that was the first thing I saw. It was when you were going off about the Weathermatic, I think.
Yep, that was a lot of people's introduction to me. It was the first thing that broke 10K out of my long form content. And funny thing about that video is it just started off as a normal vlog about the Weathermatic. I filmed all the footage out and about with no intention to mention Jason at all, but just looking up, I like to research stuff and do the back end stuff before I launch it, because after putting so much work into a video, I don't want to just put it out there and have it not be seen and then not be worth it. So I looked up who's got the highest rated Weathermatic video, Jason, and it came out forever ago when he only had 100 subs. So I watched it again after years, and I realized I disagreed with a lot of what he said about it. So I'm like, why not ride on his coattails and try and get a little bit of traction out of it?
Well, it seems to have worked for you, because that video blew up, man.
Nah, it did pretty good.
What's it like having this audience that's growing as consistently as it is?
I mean, it's been kind of surreal at the start of it. I was keeping up with all the comments, and it's just now getting to the point where I, if I really want to just keep my nose to the grindstone and keep making stuff, I can't keep up with replying to everything at this point. But I've made a lot of cool connections with a lot of cool people that I really value having made that connection. Like frickin' Sean Lennon, he's just one of the first people who jumped on board with LoPresti Army. Frickin', I ended up sending him some giveaway thing. I forget what it was. It was like a couple of rolls of film, and that was back when I was just doing shorts. And then just like so many other connections, like Anthony of Anthony's Expired Film, who's he's just like an amazing guy in the film community who keeps a lot of us together. And frickin' Alexander Just, I can't wait to go meet him one day. He's a great studio photographer up in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. And just that's what I've really been valuing is before I started this, I was kind of like, I'm just going to do YouTube videos. I've never been a big Instagram guy or anything, and I've never thought I'd be doing the whole social media thing, but the connections have been awesome. And one of the best things has been when people tell me that I've inspired them to get into photography or film photography, developing at home, because being as crazy as I do, I'm showing them if an idiot like me can do it, so can you. So I think that's the most rewarding part about it.
How's the photography community down in Texas? Did you not have a big community before the YouTube stuff started taking off?
No, it kind of just felt like an island out here. We didn't really, we had some gigs, some gig work for some people, and it wasn't very steady. We did some great stuff for the parks department nearby, and we still work with them here and there. But yeah, until I started doing shorts, really nobody I didn't really have any community. I hooked up with this guy Brandon that we met out at a skate competition doing some photos for the parks department here, and we still talk when we can, but he's busy with life and whatnot. I actually lent him my Yashica Mat 124G medium format camera, so that's the only close by photo person that we've really connected with. But after going and doing that whole beers and camera vlog episode, and getting to meet Jason and whatnot, I got to connect with some awesome people in Austin, which is like 2 hours away from me. So I feel like I got a little bit of a local community. And of course, I got to meet Money Shot Photo, Eric Gustafson. He's an amazing street photographer. Got to meet him in San Antonio for another one of my episodes. So, that's been another benefit of getting to just, connect with people that are just as passionate about this stuff as I am.
That's awesome, man. See, I don't have that kind of community here in Michigan. I'm in a very rural area. It's about an hour to Detroit, 45 minutes to Flint. So it's not really something I could just take off away from the kids to go do all the time, as much as I would love to and want to.
Yeah, and that's kind of how, we're kind of out in the sticks here. Like, even to get to the closest town, it's like 15 minutes. If we just want to go to a bodega, get gas or whatever, and when I was being bad, going on beer runs and and all that. But and then going to the Walmart, it's like 20 minutes. But then, that's still a small town. It's like a retirement community near me. Not much nightlife, or, I always say I'm a street photographer out in the frickin' rural sticks, backwoods of Texas. So it kind of sucks, but I take it where I can.
Yeah. When did you start shooting film?
The summer of 2021, so not even that long ago.
I haven't been doing it that long either. I've only been shooting film for a year and a half, 2 years now. But it's crazy how strong the online community is for analog photography. And it's cool seeing somebody new like you that is actually bringing a different vibe to the content creation around photography, because everybody tries to be so dramatic and moody, and you're just a character. It's refreshing to see somebody being goofy with film photography, because you don't see it that much. And a lot of your stuff is goofy, and I absolutely love it. That's what was different for your content when I came into watching it.
Yeah, it was, for the longest time, I wanted to do this whole photography content thing since I started doing film, and was, watching every Bad Flashes, Grainy Days episode. And I was like, freaking hell, dude, I can take pictures, I can record stuff. I'd done a few video client gigs, and just the thing that held me back was like, wait, what am I going to do that's different to stand out? And, I was like, how can I really do this whole comedy and photography thing? And I was just overthinking it, like I just recently released a video that I had sat on for 2 years, or no, like 3, 4 years, whatever. It's just like, it was footage that I cut together back in 2022. And, I was letting things like, having the perfect background. And I mean, look at me now. There's a frickin' water damage in the ceiling. Everything's terrible. It's all cattywampus. And now that has been kind of my, the thing that keeps me going is just hit record and just go and be yourself. And don't worry about everything else. Like, as long as I think it's the content more than the aesthetics, I feel is what keeps me going.
Yeah, I think it's you. I think you have a very big personality, and you're not afraid to be yourself, where everybody else is almost playing a character. I don't know if you're playing an exaggerated version of yourself, because everybody does online, but I think it's refreshing that you're not being the moody photographer in the sticks of Texas.
For sure. I mean, and there's definitely people that are doing their own thing. I just think, I don't know. I'm just blessed. I feel blessed that people are responding to it. I've taken it in so many directions. I feel like I've been leaning into the old unhinged thing. It's honestly quite tame compared to, like with roots in like Tim and Eric or Eric Andre type of humor, just like absurd type of stuff. And like now, something that's on my watch list, I want to watch Tom Segura's new Bad Thoughts on Netflix, like, stuff like that takes it to the next level. But that's the kind of stuff that makes me chuckle. And I feel like it's informed from, the days of my youth of watching Comedy Central and like Mitch Hedberg and Stephen Wright are like kind of the opposite ends of the comedy spectrum, where they're super dry and not really outlandish in the way I do things. But anyway, I feel like it's sacrilegious for me to even like utter them in relationship to me, because those are gods of the comedy thing. And I feel like I'm becoming a big fish in a small pond that is the film photography thing, because, you know, in another context, all my humor is pretty derivative, and I'm just being a clown that shoots a camera, you know?
I think that's what every photographer is doing, man. Every photographer is just a clown at this point, playing with their cameras. You participate in unorthodox photography. You like weird stuff, man. Like, I watched your video of you shooting Instax film on a Polaroid that wasn't really a Polaroid, but you used the title to get viewers.
Well, it's a Polaroid. It's not a SX70. It's not, you know, an integral Polaroid film thing. But I feel like there should be a way to make that work. I feel like I can revisit it and do it in a more like, in a less clickbaity way that where people would expect, hey, it looks like a normal thing. And anyway, I think that should be possible.
I wasn't hating on the clickbaity thing. Everybody needs the clickbait because we're content creators, so we need to, you know, throw out the line now and then to maybe get some more views because we're vain. But you like unorthodox photography and like your Pinsta project and everything. Where do you find the innovation to do it? I feel like you're trying to innovate more so than other YouTube photographers who play it safe.
It's just curiosity. That's kind of what led me down this rabbit hole, and everything in life I've kind of approached with an obsession to a fault, where anything I get into, I let it just like consume every free moment that I have to think about it. Like, you know, before I got into photography in general, like it was drumming, and I would just spend like all day, every day in my storage unit drumming. And then I got into singing, and I was going to voice lessons, and I was practicing that, and I was getting up on stage, making a fool of myself. And then photography came around, and, you know, I just wanted to know everything I could about it, especially with the tangible, you know, magicalness of analog. And I just wanted to learn everything I could. So I was going down a bunch of rabbit holes on YouTube. And so I kind of wanted to give back to what I was taking from, you know, like that well of knowledge, and just anything that tickled. Like, I just love going down these random rabbit holes of thought of like, what can you do with this stuff? And I haven't been doing anything that crazy yet, but the last thing I want to do is just be like, oh, what does Portra 400 do? Or let me do a camera review, because like every camera is the same damn thing. It's like just a box that lets light in for a fraction of a second, you know? So that kind of stuff bores me in gear reviews, but you know, I've had to do a couple of them, but yeah, I think that's just where it comes from, is my obsessive nature. And it's a way to not get bored with it, because if I was just doing film stock reviews or whatever and taking random pictures of trees and whatnot, then I'd probably get bored of it and get burnt out.
It's unrelated to what we were talking about, but it's been on my mind, and this is the number one question I wanted to ask you for my own sake is, how are you not absolutely terrified to take pictures of strangers on the street with a flash?
Just practice. And, you know, I remember back in 2021 when we started, I was forcing myself to put on a 35 mil lens. Whoa, I got to get close. And then I got a little bit wider, and I got to get close. And even then, like, I was so skittish. I'd take my camera just like from the hip, do that, no flash. I mean, one of the first times that I can kind of vaguely remember using a flash in public was at this one. I think it was a crab festival, like a gumbo type thing in Sebastian, Florida. And we were just in the park, and I remember being so scared, and like, you know, the first few times you do it, it's like adrenaline, and you're like, oh, someone's going to say something, and then just no one says anything, or like you might just get some weird looks. And, you know, I think I kind of have a healthy perspective on just life and stuff that's just been, you know, some people might go, oh, this guy's a psychopath, you know, but frickin' I know that, you know, I'm not big and important, but in everybody else's mind, they're their own main character. So they're going through life, and just like, I'm thinking, okay, well, something popped off on me. What am I going to do? Just go into a freaking rage and start bombing on them? Nah, I mean, for most people, no. And so that, I mean, it's just kind of realizing that, I don't know, putting myself in their shoes and knowing that it's not going to be a big rejection. Worst thing that happens is like, oh, delete it, you know? And like, hey, it's on film. Get out of here. Hey, you know, like, I don't know. So, I mean, it's just through practice. I mean, like anything.
That's been the biggest question that people have been asking is, well, they want me to talk about it on the podcast is, how do you take pictures of strangers in public? And you're the first photographer that I've talked to on here that's comfortable with doing that to the degree with which you do. I watched that walkthrough video, I think, where you did in Austin, maybe, and you were fearless when it came to taking pictures of people on the street. So it's nice to get that perspective from somebody who's not absolutely terrified of being confronted by it. Because I'm somebody who has been confronted on the street by taking photos, and I was like, that's the last time I do that for a while.
I mean, it's dependent on where you are too. I mean, you know, we're looking forward to going and shooting a folk festival around here, and every time we go, it's just like the vibe there is not conducive for flash photography, getting up in people's grills, and you know, because people are, you know, say you're at an event, everyone's sitting down in bleachers. Like, you know, I'm really going to go in there and interrupt their viewing time by like taking pictures of them. No. So you're like relegated to the outskirts of people, you know, in the lines of the concession stand. But even then, it's just the vibe of wherever you are in the town. Like, you know, Austin, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. I mean, you saw those drunkies pub crawling around on those streets. It's like, you know, half of them aren't even going to notice. They're so out of their freaking minds. So, you know, and then something like going to New York, I've only gotten to shoot there once, and it was, you know, no fear, because that's everyone does that. That's like street photography mecca in the U.S. And it just depends on where you are, and you can get into that vibe in other ways, and it depends on how nice you are to people, you know, and just having a little bit of social skills. You don't want to be sneaky. You kind of just want to be transparent and obvious that you're taking a pic. You know, most people are like, oh, I want to be subtle. I want to wear all black. I want to blend in and be able to do a sneaky hip shot. But that's when you get yourself into trouble, and when someone could get really mad at you. And even something like we just shot in Vegas, and even though that was bustling, kind of like shooting fish in a barrel, but just the vibe of the people, it didn't feel nearly as easy to cross that threshold of I'm going to take this picture here. Like I was shooting left and right through Austin, but in Vegas, I'd kind of go for like 10 minutes at a time and be like, oh, there's all these people. And it wasn't necessarily that they didn't look like something I wanted to photograph, but just the vibe of the situation. And you're kind of just always, you got to have like, I guess, emotional intelligence of what these people are feeling and thinking. And, you know, you just got to try and tap in and get in a flow state.
Yeah, I think I need to practice that more, because the nearest large city to me is Detroit. And the one time I did shoot in Detroit, I had luck with people actually approaching me wanting photos taken. And I was like, okay, well, I can practice this with these people. But as far as shooting people on the street in their face, that's just not a threshold I can cross right now after my experience.
And it's not like that has to be it. Like, I feel like everybody thinks of classic street photography thing is like, oh, you got to have 28 mil, you got to get right up in there and do this and that. But I mean, honestly, after getting as comfortable as I have with wide and flash, I kind of feel like it's just like a crutch, a trick in my bag of tricks that I keep relying on. And I'm not really using my eye as much as I could. Like I see Sarah with like a little bit of a tighter lens, trying to train her eye to find colors and shapes and funny moments and like just nice compositions that are more thoughtful, compared to I'm like, me go flash in funny man face, you know, like, and it's just, I feel like I need to start maybe tightening it up a bit, maybe go with a 35 or try to be a 50 shooter and, you know, get more thoughtful.
I've been using a 50 an awful lot lately on my Canon A1. It's the only lens I have for it, so I was forced to, but I think it's really tightened up my composition as far as it goes compared to when I was shooting even on a 35. It makes you appreciate the space you have when you're shooting as wide as 28 or 35. And I've been shooting on 500T because somebody told me I could respool it.
Hey, I'm happy I've inspired, man. It's definitely my favorite color film. The only thing, you know, I tell everyone my favorite color film is Fuji 400 because that's the cheapest, easiest. You can get a 3-pack for $24 at the Walmart, so you can get it all over the country. But you can get it even cheaper if you do 500T. The only problem is you got to do the whole remjet thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the remjet thing didn't really bother me that much. I was shocked by how easy it was. I think I watched Caleb Newvin's video on how to remove the remjet layer, and I was like, all right, that's perfect. And then your video is what actually inspired me to get it, because I found some, it popped up in my eBay recommendeds, and like, damn, that Nick guy said that this stuff is really great. So I bought on blind faith.
Well, hell yeah. I'm glad you ain't disappointed, man.
No, I'm not, man. I've been getting a lot of great results from it, and I think there's a lot of people through my Substack who are now looking for it. They're trying to bulk roll it, and I'm like, oh no, I've created something horrible. I don't want them to buy all this because I'm going to buy more.
Yeah, it kind of sucks that Rochester has ceased sending that out to us plebs, but I think it would be easy enough to kind of like bend the truth and get yourself 400 feet of it if you tell them, oh, I've got a buddy with an Reflex something, and we're gonna do some test stuff for some Sundance thing. So, yeah, just send me some. I really got to figure out how I can get my hands on some double X, because I still got plenty of 500T, but I'm all out of double X, which is my favorite black and white film. Just again because it's cheap and it works. If it's good enough for Hollywood. What am I really going to be pretentious and say I need Tri-X?
Right. I was going to ask when you were going to have some of that back in stock, because you were selling it through your website.
Oh, yeah. I still have plenty of the Super Double X black, the ancient 70-plus-year-old film that expired in 52. I still have a little under 200 feet of that. It's just, with time and everything. And I want to shoot it and re-explore possibilities of getting even better results than I was able to get. I was talking to a real nice guy, real knowledgeable on Instagram. He's always wanting to help people out with alternative darkroom methods to extract the best you can out of your pictures. Eric John Vandrick, at Eric John Vandrick. That's Eric with a K. He gave me a lot of good notes on different things I could do with different kind of chemicals instead of just going straight ahead with like an HC-110 or a D76. And it's kind of cool to think that there are labs that specialize in recovering old pictures. Like, say you find an old archive of undeveloped pictures from decades and decades ago. Where are people going to turn to try and unlock all those pictures, And I feel like I don't want that kind of knowledge to die, because that's what this whole analog thing's about, man. But anyway, so I'm doing my small part, being an analog clown, trying to get people to pay attention to this stuff,
I think you're doing a great job of it, though, because like even participating in your live on YouTube the other night where you were developing film, it seemed like a lot of the people in the comment section were familiar with each other. Because like somebody I knew was in the chat. I was like, hey, Raph's in here.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, dude, Raph is amazing. I just got to meet him in Austin. It's funny, it had been over a year since we went to Austin for that Beers and Cameras thing. And then we did that. And then what do you know? Raph's in town. We're getting to go again after just like a month. And it was great getting to meet him. He's a swell guy. He hooked me up with some Aero color, which I'd never gotten to shoot. Not Aerochrome, Aero color. But anyway, yeah, it's been great building a little community of people that, I'm seeing them in each other's comments on Instagram and on YouTube. And it's great having everybody just being able to connect with each other and make friends. I never thought I'd be like a social butterfly on the Instagrams, but it's been pretty cool, man.
I'm in a much smaller situation right now. This morning I woke up to learn that I am the number 47 growing creator for art and illustration on Substack, which photography's included in that. And my audience isn't that huge. And yesterday I got my first paid subscriber, and it's weird. Has your phone gone off nonstop since you started, like blowing up like that? And how are you dealing with it?
There's been waves, whenever I have a short or a reel that pops off, it will start like buzzing a lot. But I have developed quite a severe social media addiction thanks to all this stuff. But it's the price you got to pay, price of admission. And the funny thing is, Sarah, my partner, my better half, the one who pushes me and inspires me, she is also logged into the official Nick LoPresti Instagram account. So, her phone will start buzzing right along mine. Like, so if ours buzz in unison, we know, hey, I'm doing something right. People are paying attention. And yeah, I mean, certain things will pop off, like, you know, some of the if film were people, they would just like be buzzing our phone all day. One of the funniest things that I did not expect to go off was around holiday times last year. We had shot a holiday parade, and so like people on floats, you know, and we were the official photographers, so I was bobbing and weaving through floats trying to get pictures up close of all the people on the floats. And you know, I just had a little bit of like a rant that I wanted to deliver. I was just, you know, having my morning coffee, and I was like, you know what, I want to record this. It wasn't planned, it wasn't scripted or anything, and I just set up the camera in front of my green screen and I started yelling at it, and I'm like, are you afraid of or people with bigger cameras or bigger lenses than you? Just be a jerk. Get in their way. Get so you can get your pay. And that video, that rant, like really blew up, and because I was saying something a bit controversial. You know, a lot of people disagreed. Some people were really mean and said my photography sucks, and you know, so I got in fights in the comments with that one. But that one blew up. That one got like over 100,000 views. And it was just something I just threw together in like an hour and edited. And I was just like, be a jerk, get in people's way so you can get your pay, was the tagline at the end of it. But the thing I'm most proud about, that the famous photographer, the lead Associated Press photographer, Evan Vucci, he took the iconic picture of Trump getting shot in the ear, you know, like that picture where he's like this. He took that picture. He actually jumped in the comments on that one. So, yeah, that was freaking dope, man. That one, you know, and it's nuts that the photography world, you know, you can reach these people. Like, you know, I've gotten freaking Grainy Days to comment on that video where I call it Grainy Days Exposed. You know, he jumped, and so just the fact of that, I've even gotten Matt Day to leave a comment on a short forever ago. But yeah, I don't even remember where we started. Yeah, the phone blowing up. Yeah, it blows up. It has waves, and I know I'm doing something right when it is blowing up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the relationships that you're able to build with people kind of evens out having to deal with trolls who are inevitably going to be in your comments and trying to break your spirit. And I've been guilty of being a troll before, so I get what they're doing. And I'm like, good for you, man. I see it. I appreciate the hustle.
I troll, but I never try and say something that would be mean. You know, like I think the meanest thing I ever trolled, in a Polly B episode with Trevor Wisecup, I said something like, Trevor Wisecup looks like three kids trying to sneak into a movie theater because he was wearing some loose-fitting clothes. And, you know, I kind of have a baby face, but compared to him, you know, I guess I look like 100 years old. And I wasn't trying to be mean. What I used to do when I was just getting started with this is every time I'd release a short, I'd find anything that was even remotely related to the video. I just put out and comment bomb it. So I would, like, you know, say I put out a video about the Olympus XA. I would just type in Olympus XA, sort by most views or recently released, and I would just like leave comments saying, hey, dude, we're Olympus bros. Check out my new video and stuff like that. And I don't think it helped with the algorithm at all, but people are still finding those out in the wild. And yeah, anyway, I can be a troll too.
I kind of picked that up about you with do you script your videos or are you going off the top?
I script. I started off just going off the top, and I still do for certain things, like a lot of reels. Like any reels that I'm making to be reels these days, I don't have time to script it. If it's just going to be a reel, I can't devote as much time. Like I used to be like one reel a day, I'd put my all into them, and now they're either cut from my long form episodes or I'm just playing around with some camera straps that PGY Tech sent me. Oh, go to my affiliate code to get your own freaking camera strap from PGY Tech. Ooh, they're amazing. So that kind of stuff I'm making up. And I am working on a new episode where I thrifted a bunch of cameras. I mean, let me show you guys this pile over here. I got 90 pounds of cameras from a thrift store nearby, and I just knocked my microphone down. And so I'm working on that episode, and of course that's not scripted because I want people to be able to see my reaction to pulling out one camera at a time out of these bins. And but I don't know if I'm going to script the rest of it or not. And then other stuff I don't script, like that Austin vlog. I didn't script any of that talking head stuff, but yeah, so it's a mix, you know.
I started on YouTube and it's been terrible, but the videos that do succeed for me are the ones that I don't really script. I'll kind of just make a points list of things I'm trying to do, and those are the ones that do the most successful things. I made a video about that stupid ass Camp Snap camera. Do you know what I'm talking about? Every photographer got ads for this. It's the screenless digital camera for only $40. Dude,
Yeah, it looks like the old reloadable disposables.
yeah, like this little bastard right here. But dude, that thing has almost 1,000 hours of watch time on it, and I'm like, I hate this damn. I hate that damn video so much, and that's what I'm always getting notifications on.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's weird, the things that'll pop off. Like, one of the first things that confused me because it popped off was my reel on how I scan film. And that's my most viewed piece of content ever. I think it got me over 1,000 subs on YouTube. It got it has over 500,000 views on YouTube. And the thing is, I've started reposting semi recently a lot of stuff because I'm like, it's not like everybody in the world saw it, so I shouldn't feel guilty about recycling stuff. Freaking network TV runs reruns all the time, so and then it'll I think I reposted it and it only got like a couple thousand. Not that I'm complaining, I'm just saying I know it's the luck of the draw sometimes. The stars got to align. And and by the way, one of my favorite pieces was totally unscripted. My Pinsta video, my review of the Pinsta camera. We just went out and filmed ourselves shooting it and having fun, kind of vlog style. And then to tie it all together, me and Sarah both filmed our own talking head reaction stuff, but we didn't script that. We just had a big old bulletin board with, a timeline of, okay, here's where all of our footage starts, here's where it ends, and let's just react to each part and, give our thoughts on it. And it came out really good. And one little behind the scenes of that one is I went ahead and filmed my whole thing, hours of footage of me talking to the camera, and then turns out the microphone jack on my A7 III had broken. So it was in-camera audio, and it was terrible. I couldn't stand it, so I had spent all night recording that, and then just woke up the next day, drank 2 espressos, and just got right back to it and did it again, and those takes are wonderful. I love it, and that's still my favorite video to this day, especially because it's 40 minutes long, so you get you get nice ad revenue. Yeah. Here, let me check some. Yeah. Okay. I'm so just for back end stuff, I just had to hit record again on this camera. It stopped because we got a half hour in. So you're probably gonna have to use some of this. I hope you're capturing some of this. By the way.
I am. I got the capture card going through OBS.
Okay, cool. I wish the Sony had a tally light that I feel like it usually does, but for some reason it's not giving me one. But it is recording now. But so another half hour in, it'll stop again though. It only does 30-minute bursts.
I got the 7.4, and I'm so paranoid about it because I had the 7.3, and I'm always like, is it still recording? So every now and then you'll see me stare at the camera to make sure I still see the little recording symbol. It terrifies me.
It's tough trying to be a freaking content person without having a flip up towards you screen. So what I do is I link my phone to it and use this as my monitor, just like right there. But then that introduces the problem of, am I looking at myself in the monitor? So that I've gotten really good at just, when I film my talking heads, hello internet, I'm Nick. And I don't want to be like, hello internet, I'm Nick. So I make sure I even give it a second, like a couple of beats after each line. And I'll drive Sarah crazy when I'm filming the talking heads because I'll do the same simple, meaningless line that makes no difference how I deliver it. And it might not even end up being on screen because I try to cover everything up with actual, B-roll, pickup footage, illustrating whatever the hell I'm talking about. But I still want to make sure I have the option to be on screen and I'm looking right at you.
Yeah, because you never know when you're going to need that footage to cut away from something or cut to something. Yeah. Forgive me, I'm going to hit my vaporizer real quick because I'm a degenerate.
Oh, crap, dude. Frickin' hell, dude. I didn't know this was a frickin' Spencer's gift shop in the mall.
I'm just sitting in the back. Dude, my whole life is a Spencer's gift shop in the mall.
Nah, it's all good, dude. Frickin', I would be chewing some of this right now. We recently quit smoking, and I've been chomping on this like crazy. And Sarah will get on my case. She'll always tell me to spit out my gum before I start recording something because otherwise I'm...
Yeah, does she help you with the video editing and have to listen to the mouth noises?
She doesn't help with the editing, but she helps with me getting stuff right in camera. She comes up close, make sure I don't got flakies, my hair's right, make sure I'm not, freaking chomping on my gum, make sure I'm dressed good, so she does all the pre-check stuff for me.
And I come up with half the
and she comes up with half the ideas. If Film Were People was Sarah's brainchild, and
That was a good
yeah,
idea.
I was totally hesitant to do the If Film Were People series. I was like, this isn't gonna work, and I was so uncomfortable on camera playing different characters because I'm comfortable being myself and being a normal brand of Nick, but when I'm having to like, actually act, it was a little tough for
Yeah.
me, and it was a little out of my comfort zone. Certain characters were easy enough, but other ones were tough, like the Polaroid character trying to be Ongo Goblogian. I didn't want to seem insensitive. I didn't want to seem like I was doing a caricature of a homosexual person. I wanted to make sure that I'm Danny DeVito as Gongo Goblogian, derivative. And that one I got a little self-conscious filming that one. But anyway, little plug. We do have like 5 episodes of If Film Were People season 2 filmed and in the can. I just got, is it in the can before you edit it or after you edit it? I haven't edited them yet, but
They're in the can then.
so that's coming soon. They're coming soon. I forget what film stocks, but keep a lookout. So I got to keep milking that cash cow.
Oh yeah, you gotta. Yeah, anything you can find. I made a second damn camp stamp video to try to do the same thing. Did not work. But I think you have the audience built in to where I think that's going to be good. Did you find anything good in that 90-pound camera box, or have you not looked all the way through it yet?
I have looked all the way through it. It is mostly handy cams. It's mostly video cameras. Some good ones, some decent ones. I'm still going through to see exactly what's broken, but there's no Leicas, no Hasselblads. I think the coolest film camera from the bunch is here. I'll go grab it. So this is the only film camera I'm excited about from the thing. It's the Pentax Auto 110, the little.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, the little 110 camera. Let me see if I can get this off. I think I tightened it too hard. And it's got the flash that goes with it. This whole time, it's an actual SLR. But the thing is, I can't tell if it's working. I didn't know these. I guess I should have known because it's called the Auto 110. That it's totally automatic. Manual focus, but other than that, there's no settings for me to choose the shutter speed or aperture. But it's firing. But other than that, I don't know. Because I'm not seeing any like heads-up display in the viewfinder. But yeah, I don't know. There was a bit of battery corrosion, so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to clean up cameras, testing them as much as I can, and yeah, it's mostly tape cameras. DV, what is it? Mini DV tapes. The digital 8.
Those are big right now, man. They're making a huge comeback for some reason.
Yeah, I was surprised, man, looking some of them up. So I think I'll make my money back. But now I got hours of footage that I got to cut together into a coherent and entertaining narrative. And hopefully I can get a sponsor. I'm in talks. We'll see.
I think you'll get one. With as big as you're getting right now, like, how you were talking about connecting to the coattails of Grainy Days? I'm grabbing at some coattails right now, Nick.
Yeah, I don't mind, man. For the LoPresti bump, let's make it happen.
Yeah. Hopefully that becomes a thing. I would greatly appreciate that because I certainly don't have a bump for anybody. How often are you shooting photography right now with all the things you got going on with video? What's the balance like with video and shooting?
Terrible. When's the last time I took a picture? Like an actual, when was the last time we were taking pictures? Was it before we even came back? Was it Austin with Raph? Is that the last time? When was that? That was the start of the month, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I haven't actually shot a picture since was that the 9th? No, we got to hang out with him on Thursday on the 8th, and then we left on the 9th. Yeah. So probably at the start of the month. So it's been 2 weeks since I've even legitimately gone out and taken a picture. And even then it was more about just hanging out with Raph and not really I don't know, because we had just done Austin and done all that. And we even went out and did 6th Street again with my good buddy Mingo at Grainrot on Instagram. Amazing street photographer, world-class tattoo artist, and gala. Anyway, and we just we weren't feeling it because we had just done it. We got our fill last time we were in Austin. So yeah, really the balance is terrible. I'm not getting to shoot nearly as many pictures as before I started doing this whole content thing. And the film's piling up. I got Anthony sending me film, right within an arm's reach. I got frickin' all this from Tony, frickin' all this expired film. I got frickin' uh, 10, 20 plus, I don't know, like 40. So like 60 sheets of 4x5 over there. I got 2 rolls of this right here, Provia 100. And I got 100 feet of frickin' infrared film here, black and white infrared. So like, yeah, I can't keep up with all this stuff I got to do. I mean, I can. It's just like, I really got to expedite my workflow to be able to get more content out. I feel like I need a new format is what I really need to be able to like get out and shoot more and not worry about making it like, super hyper edited brain rot for everybody.
Have you considered outsourcing the editing, or do you like being hands-on with that?
I mean, if I was going to no, I don't want to outsource. I want to get to a point where I can insource. Whoa, I learned that term from Ethan Moses, Cameradactyl. I think he's the one that gave me that term, where I can end up hiring somebody that I really trust. But, I'm not even close to that point of being able to put anybody on the payroll. I can't even support myself with this stuff yet. Big shout out to Sarah, who's been bankrolling this whole operation. We're a year in, and I have barely, nothing I could live off of. Things are picking up, but I ain't Daddy Roarbucks over here. So that would be the dream. I mean, my biggest content person influence, I would say, is Matty Matheson, the celebrity chef. He's got a bit role on The Bear. FX is The Bear, that cooking show. He's got a great YouTube channel with millions of followers, and he's got a real successful operation where he shows up to his studio in Nashville. He's already like planned out what dish he's going to do. He's got like food stylists and other chefs on the payroll and camera people and an editor on the payroll. So all he has to do is show up and just verbal diarrhea for however long it takes him to make this dish as he's making it. And then at the end of the day, someone else cuts it all together. And I would love for that to be a thing for me to be able to do. But honestly, this analog photography niche is a real small pie. So if I ever want to get to that point, I'm going to have to break out of this niche and, at least start with digital photography. And I would love to make people care about me as just a normal, funny person and be able to like give my takes on just everyday things and not just photography stuff. Photography is always going to be a passion of mine, but I feel like if I really want to get to the point that I dream that I can take this thing to, I'm going to have to really break out of this niche and kind of broaden my audience.
I think you can do it, man. You're a funny guy. You're well-spoken, and there's just a presence to you that I think people are drawn to. And as your audience grows through your YouTube, I think you're going to be able to reach out and do whatever you want with what you're doing. Whether it be stand-up comedy, I think you could thrive in stand-up comedy.
Oh man, I'm too much of a girly man to frickin'. Of course I dream. I'm like 2 hours from trying to go sign up for Kill Tony and get on, but like, I'd actually have to write a minute. I'd have to actually go try. I've never done stand-up comedy. I mean, I've been on stage and faced plenty of public humiliation where I think I can handle it, but I'd at least want to go practice. Last thing you want to do is be like, frickin', this is my first time ever trying comedy on Kill Tony, and then bomb and then get ruthlessly just decimated by Tony Hinchcliffe. I'm like 2 hours from the comedy capital of the world, pretty much, Austin, Texas. But if I was really going to make a serious go of that, I feel like throughout me and Sarah's relationship, I have, been going to one passion to the next and kind of been like, it's been a revolving door of obsession and to burnout and to failure. And, like I said, it was, I used to write a bunch of raps, and I used to go to open mics and do those. And then drumming, got in a couple bands and went to open mics. We ran an open mic for like a year back in my hometown. And then classical singing and yada, yada. So it's just been like one thing after the other. But photography has been around for longer than I stuck with any of those things. And, I'm really passionate about it, and people seem to like my takes on it. And so if I started pursuing comedy seriously, I think I'd drive her nuts, and I feel like it would be starting off at ground zero. But that's a way bigger pool. You know what I mean? Like this, if you top out at this film photography thing, like the biggest freaking guy is like Willem Verbeek on the YouTubes. He's like the biggest film content person, and he's got under $500,000. Somebody in a more broader niche could just be doing TikTok dances and, and get tens of millions of followers. So, and then comedy stuff, like just there's so many bros with comedy podcasts just talking about whatever. And, anyway, that's my point. I don't know if I made a point, but that's what we're sticking with.
So I know you like street photography. Is that your favorite kind of photography, or do you like shooting landscapes and stuff like that? Because I don't think I've seen you shoot landscape before.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just street stuff is the only thing that I really can get excited about heading out to go shoot. I do love taking photo road trips like me and Sarah did Route 66 and did this stereotypical film photographer thing of pulling over for every abandoned building. And that was real fun. And it's fun to, take your time with a composition like that. But the thing with landscapes that I can't get behind is just like, you might find the perfect spot and then like, okay, well, I have to be here at this time of day. So like the only way to really do it is to go out, camp out, wait all day for one shot. And I'm just impatient. I cannot, I don't know if I can devote that much thought to one picture. Maybe when I get old and slower, I'll want to do that. It's already starting, my joints are failing me. But yeah, mostly just street stuff is the only thing I can really get excited about.
I'm very similar in the way that I don't like to be relegated to sitting around waiting for the light to be just right. We just hiked Hocking Hills in southern Ohio, which is the only good thing in Ohio. But I tried to plan my walks through the canyons and stuff around what time it was, so that way I didn't have to worry about the lighting. I knew the lighting was going to be good there. Other than that, I did no waiting around. I just walked and shot from like golden hour in the morning, golden hour in the evening. And it made life much easier because I am not good at sitting around and waiting because I have a horrible case of ADHD.
Yeah, people everybody is freaking diagnosing me with that in my comments, like especially at the start of this whole thing. Because I think it's because like, I think that's what really set me apart before I started doing the whole unhinged thing. Like it was just that I would talk through, that was one of the first things I discovered about the success of shorts. Like if I tried to do a short where it's just POV of me taking pictures and there's no dialogue, it performed terribly. But when I would talk and do a voiceover, it would do great. And that was kind of my whole workflow is I'd shoot the POV thing. I'd have the GoPro here. I'd show myself loading a camera and taking the pictures. But I would do a voiceover of it. And I would talk so fast because I want to get as much information to them in a minute, because this was before you could put more than a minute into a YouTube short. And people would be like, slow down, because everyone was so used to like the ASMR slow, calming film photography content, and I kind of just didn't do that. And everyone was like, oh my God, ADHD much?
I think it works to your benefit because people with ADHD are drawn to the way you were portraying your content. And like somebody like me, I caught that and I was like, oh man, this guy he goes. He doesn't leave the long drawn out, oh, here's some cinematic music or a cinematic shot. It's just, here's me, here's what I'm doing, this is what it's about.
I feel like it's more respectful of people's time. If you're here to watch a thing, like actually learn about a subject or whatever, I'd rather, if I'm going to click on it, I don't want to freaking have to skip around. I want it to get right into it, And that's what I try to do.
Yeah, and I have not scrolled on one of your videos.
Thank you.
I'm guilty of skipping around in videos a lot, and I have not skipped through yours because it's like you have your story beats down. It's not even a story beat, it's just the attention beats, because we all suffer from brain rot in this day and age, and I think you are excelling in educational brain, and I don't even want to say brain rot, brain nourishment.
Thank you so much, man. Yeah, I definitely pride myself on my pacing. There's just one little segment on my 500T video. If anybody who watches this can find it and go tag the timestamp on there, see if you can find the spot where I'm like not talking for like, I think a quarter of a second, and that still makes me cringe. I should have like tightened it up a little bit. It's like, just one little quarter second shutter speed. And I should have just tightened that up. I'm like talking throughout the entire video. And I know that's hard for some people to like absorb all that right away, but I mean, then skip back and rewatch it. I don't know. I mean, hey, Sarah's taking a picture of me on the podcast. But yeah, I think my stuff is not something someone could, fall asleep watching, but I'm fine with that.
I have done that.
Oh, okay. Well, I stand corrected.
but on purpose. I put it on. It was a video I had already watched, and I put it on to absorb it through osmosis before we sat down and talked. So
Kind of like trying to learn French. Omelette du fromage.
it's funny you were talking about all the things you've been into and gone through, because I released a mixtape as a rapper. I collected fish tanks. I had 8 fish tanks going at one time, and I think you get hyper fixated on something, and I don't know if that's something that everybody who wants to do a creative endeavor goes through, or they're just trying to find something that connects with them where they can connect with other people. I know for me, I am a very lonely person where I live. My family lives hours away from me, and I feel like those hyperfixations can connect me to a different community via online or in person. And I think that's where my personal hyperfixations come from. But photography, like you were saying, has been different for me, and I've stuck around in it, and it's changed my life, because I was breaking my back printing shirts for so long, and now I'm actually able to do an artistic thing without dying for somebody else's buck.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I can't say that it was ever about trying to find community, because I've been blessed to have Sarah by my side this whole time. And I think it was just like trying to find something fulfilling. Like for 8 years, I worked for a real estate firm, being their in-house marketing person. I went to school for graphic design, and so I was like making brochures and postcards and whatnot. And that was the opposite of fulfilling. So all throughout that time, I was trying to do something. Even before I had that job, I was writing raps in a notebook and recording stuff. I had like one of those beat machine things, a Native Instruments beat pad thing. I was like trying to sample stuff and do that, but I had like no musical inclination at that point, and it was tough. And so it's just anything that gave me goosebumps, back then. That's what got me deep into music, was just trying to chase that feeling of something meaningful, something that can just transcend the normal, I don't know, just everyday existence. And I don't know if I necessarily get that same kind of reward feeling from photography, but it's definitely like a meditative state when I'm actually out doing it. I mean, the last time I can actually remember actually being in like a, all in, I just locked into photography, was when we were shooting a July 4th event here near us is Kerrville, Texas. We were out at the park there for the Parks Department taking pictures, and I just remember I was bouncing from one group to the next, just going around taking pictures, getting candids and everything, and I just felt like I was unstoppable. Freaking, I was aiming my camera everywhere, just bold, didn't care what people thought about me, totally forgot about myself. And I think like that's what I think. I guess maybe I did. So I can relate it to music in the sense of whenever I'd be playing drums and I'd actually be locked in, I knew I was doing it right, because I wasn't thinking or worrying about that fill that's coming up, or if I'm gonna frickin' get if we're all gonna end on the same time, if I'm gonna remember this transition to the next part in the song. I'm just doing it, and I'm there totally present. So I think that for any creative endeavor is what I'm trying to get to, is kind of just forget who, what, and where I am and just do.
I think that's the mindset that everybody's trying to get into, and it's nice to hear somebody actually saying it out loud. But I have already filled all of my questions to you, man. We moved through that at a high pace, and we didn't want to waste anybody's time.
Hey, it's on brand for me.
If there's anything you want to plug,
Of course, everybody if you like what I do, if you want to check out my stuff, go on YouTube. I'm Nick LoPresti. Here, just so you know how to spell my last name. Oh, it is here, but there's also this. LoPresti, that's my name. LoPresti. It's right here. Look me up, Nick LoPresti. On YouTube's at Nick LoPro. Go to Instagram, LoPresti Productions, also Nick LoPresti. You can find me. Go to madebylopro.com. Do I have a sticker for that? I better have one right here. Madebylopro.com, if it'll focus on that. Go there. And if you order any of my merch, you get one of these thrown in for free. I've got fun stickers. I've got trash can shaped film capsules. I got fun merch that you can buy there at madebylopro.com. And if you want your footage to look like real film footage, if you're also a content creator and you want to put that film look on your videos, go to dehancer.com and use promo code LoPro. That's LOPRO for 10% off your purchase.
If anybody wants to get Dehancer, use promo code Shot by Jay Allen.
Oh crap! I just stole it from you.
I'll give that to you. I'm trying to build this as opposed to my actual YouTube now, because this seems to be doing better already. But thank you so much for coming on, man. I know it's just a little piddly podcast that's not doing anything yet, but it's kind of gaining steam, and I'm hoping that it can help us both in the long run find a new audience.
Dude, every bit helps, dude. And I want to show people that I'm not just some maniac cooped up in the backwoods of Texas in my little shack. Like, I can actually talk to other people. I don't bite.
No, you don't bite, man. You're a pretty decent guy, Nick. I like you.
Thank you so much, Justin.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate it.